Get ready to dive into a single day, October 24th.
October 24th, huh?
Yeah, you sent us this Arabic Wikipedia entry about it.
Okay.
And honestly, it's got way more history in it than I expected.
More than you'd think, right?
We're talking about battles, scientific discoveries, all kinds of stuff.
It's amazing, isn't it, how just looking at one date can tell you so much about, about what humans have been up to. It's like we're peeking into all these different times and seeing how things are happening all at once.
Okay, so let's get started. October 24th. It's the 297th day of the year. Unless it's a leap year, then it's 298, 68 days left until the end of the year. But, wow, this date has seen a lot.
It has.
So where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with a bang.
Okay.
How about a battle that really shaped, religious and political things for centuries?
Okay.
The Battle of Karbala in 680 A.D.
Okay.
And this wasn't just, armies fighting. This was about ideas and loyalty right in the middle of early Islam.
So this is after Prophet Muhammad died, right?
Exactly.
And there's this whole power struggle going on.
Yeah, exactly. Imam Hussein, who was the Prophet's grandson, he wouldn't pledge allegiance to the Caliph, Yazid.
Okay.
Because he thought he was illegitimate and unjust.
Right.
And this stand that he took, rooted in justice and righteousness, it's what made Hussein a martyr, a symbol of resistance.
Yeah.
Especially for Shia Muslims even today.
Wow. So this is something that happened over 1,300 years ago.
I know.
And it still has so much meaning for people today.
It does.
That's incredible how much history can impact us now.
It really is.
And it really shows you how everything's tied together. History, religion, politics, all of that.
It's all connected.
So, speaking of turning points in history,
Yeah.
let's jump ahead a few centuries to the
wow.
fall of Lisbon in 1147. Now, Lisbon is a major city, and even back then, it was such a strategic port, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whoever controlled Lisbon, they basically controlled, all the trade, all the sea power in that part of the world.
Right.
And in 1147, it fell to the Crusaders.
Yep.
This was during the Reconquista,
Okay.
which was, centuries of fighting
Right.
that really shaped the whole Iberian Peninsula.
So the fall of Lisbon was just one part of this much bigger fight
Exactly.
between Christians and Muslims
Huh?
for control of the whole region. Talking about a ripple effect.
Yeah, big time.
Okay, so moving on, let's talk about October 24th, 1260.
Okay.
That's when Sultan Qutuz was assassinated.
Wow.
He was a major figure in the Mamluk Sultanate.
He was.
And this, of course, made way for Baibars to rise to power.
Right.
Another powerful leader who left his mark on history.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating to see how these power shifts happen, right?
Yeah.
You've got one leader gone, another one steps up.
Yeah.
And the whole direction of a region can change.
It's true.
It makes you wonder, would the Mamluks have been as successful against the Mongols if Baibars hadn't been there?
Good question. Historians still argue about that one.
Okay, well, let's fast forward a bit to the 20th century.
Okay.
On October 24th, 1917, the world saw the October Revolution.
Yeah, October Revolution.
That's when the Bolsheviks took over in Russia.
Right. A huge turning point, not just for Russia, but for, the whole world in the 20th century.
Absolutely. And then just 12 years later, on that same date, the Wall Street crash of 1929 happened.
Oh, yeah.
Sending those shockwaves, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Black Tuesday. That's when the Roaring Twenties came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
I know it triggered the Great Depression.
Right.
But what's really interesting to me is how it changed people's trust in the markets.
Yeah.
In the whole economic system.
I mean, did that fear, that uncertainty, did it ever really go away?
That's a good question.
The Wall Street crash, it wasn't just about losing money. It was about losing, a kind of innocence. Like, people realized that the good times, they weren't guaranteed.
It's almost spooky how this one date, October 24th, seems to attract these big historical shifts.
It does.
But it's not all wars and revolutions, right?
Right.
What else happened on this day?
Well, how about some international intrigue?
Oh, yeah, I like where this is going.
The Protocol of Sèvres,
Okay.
signed in 1956.
Okay.
This thing reveals the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, that led to the Suez Crisis.
Right, so secret agreements between Britain, France, and Israel. This has got to be good.
Oh, it is.
Tell me more.
Basically, it laid out their roles in what they call the tripartite aggression against Egypt.
Okay.
It's a fascinating example of how hidden agendas and power plays can really shape what happens in the world.
This is like a real-life spy movie or something.
Yeah, I know, right?
But let's shift gears now to a much sadder event.
Okay.
October 24th also saw the Netherland catastrophe in 1960.
Yeah.
A terrible tragedy.
At the Baikonur Cosmodrome, there was a rocket explosion during a test.
Right.
And a lot of people died.
A lot of people.
It's a real reminder of the risks involved in space exploration.
Definitely.
I mean, these were pioneers. They were risking everything to try to understand the cosmos.
They were.
It makes you think about the human cost of progress, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so moving on. In 2012, Sudan accused Israel of bombing a weapons factory in Khartoum. And then just a year later, something totally different happens. The discovery of Z8 5B296.
Wow.
Which was the farthest galaxy known at the time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Can you even wrap your head around that distance?
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's like billions and billions of light years away or something, right?
More than 13 billion years.
Wow.
The light from that galaxy has been traveling for, more than 13 billion years to reach us.
So we're basically looking back in time to when the universe was just a baby.
Exactly. It's like looking at the universe's baby pictures.
Yeah.
That is mind-blowing.
It is.
But okay, back down to Earth.
Huh.
October 24th, 2021, we had a military coup in Sudan.
Right.
And they arrested Prime Minister Abdullah Hamdok.
It's a real reminder that, that political instability is still a big problem in many parts of the world.
It is. And then in 2022, Rishi Sunak becomes the UK's Prime Minister.
Oh, right.
After winning the Conservative Party leadership election.
A historic moment.
A historic moment.
Yeah, he's the first British Prime Minister of Asian descent.
Absolutely. So we've got ancient battles, space exploration, modern-day political dramas, all packed into one date.
It's amazing.
But you know what's really blowing my mind right now?
What's that?
It's not just the events themselves.
Yeah.
It's the people behind them.
Right.
The people who shaped these moments in history.
I know.
And we got this whole list of fascinating people who were either born or died on October 24th.
That's right.
Let's start with the births.
Okay.
First up, Emperor Domitian, born in 51 AD.
Known
for his, shall we say, his tyrannical rule.
Yeah, he had a bit of a reputation, didn't he?
He did,
but he was also, he did some good things.
Right.
He brought stability. He expanded the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Remember, history is, it's rarely black and white.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, born in 1632.
Leeuwenhoek, yes.
This guy was a pioneer in microscopy.
A pioneer.
He was seeing things no one had ever seen before.
That's right.
It must have been like discovering a whole new world.
Exactly.
But right here on Earth.
I know. Incredible, isn't it?
Okay, and then we've got 3 brilliant minds, all born on October 24th, 1932.
1932.
Pierre-Gilles Lejeune, Robert Mundell, and Stephen Covey.
Wow, what a diverse group.
What a group.
Lejeune won the Nobel Prize in Physics.
Oh, wow.
For his work on soft matter physics.
Soft matter physics.
No. Yeah, it sounds kind of cozy, doesn't it?
It does. But seriously, what is it?
Well, it's basically the study of materials that change shape easily, like polymers, liquid crystals, even biological tissues.
So things that are, soft.
Exactly.
Okay.
And Lejeune, he revolutionized the way we understand how these materials, how they behave at a molecular level.
Interesting.
And his research has applications in all sorts of fields, from material science to biology.
Okay, so that's physics. What about Robert Mundell?
Mundell, he was an economist.
Right. He won the Nobel Prize for his work on optimal currency areas.
That's right.
Can you explain what that means? Economics isn't really my thing.
Sure. Basically, Mundell's research was about figuring out, when it makes sense for countries to share the same currency.
Okay.
And his work was really important in creating the euro.
Wow.
And people still use his ideas today when they're talking about monetary policy and international finance.
So his theories have had a real impact on how countries manage their economies.
Absolutely.
Okay. And finally, we have Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Covey.
What do you think made his idea so popular?
Well, his book was all about being effective and being a good leader.
Okay.
He talked about, being proactive, setting goals, and finding solutions that work for everyone.
Right.
I think his ideas resonated with people because they offered practical advice for improving, your personal life and your work life.
Yeah, it's incredible how these 3 individuals, all born on the same day, made such big contributions to their field.
It really is.
It really shows you the range of human talent, right?
It does.
and how anyone can make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into October 24th.
We have.
We've seen historical turning points, scientific discoveries, and the lives of some amazing people.
Amazing people.
But we're not done yet.
Not done yet.
We still need to talk about the people who died on this date.
Oh, right. Those who left their legacies behind.
Exactly. So join us in part 2 as we dig deeper into their stories and uncover some surprising connections you might not have even noticed.
Welcome back. I'm ready to dig a little deeper into some of the events we talked about earlier. Let's start with the Battle of Karbala.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't just a battle. It was this clash of ideas and loyalties all tied up in this question of, you know, who should lead Islam after Prophet Muhammad died.
Right. This wasn't just about land or power. It was about the heart of Islam, you know, what it meant to be a true leader.
Exactly. Imam Hussein, the Prophet's grandson, he refused to swear allegiance to Caliph Yazid.
Right.
He saw him as illegitimate and unjust.
Okay.
And this commitment to justice and righteousness, that's what turned Hussein into a martyr, you know, a symbol of resistance, especially for Shia Muslims.
And that symbol is still so powerful today, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, people all over the world still remember and commemorate what happened at Karbala, especially during Muharram.
Right.
Millions of Muslims mourning Hussein's martyrdom and reflecting on sacrifice and standing up for what's right.
It's incredible how something that happened so long ago can still have such a profound impact on people's faith.
It really is.
And it shows how deeply history, religion, and politics are all intertwined.
Absolutely. Speaking of shaping things for centuries, let's jump back to the fall of Lisbon in 1147.
Lisbon.
We talked about how strategically important that city was.
Oh, yeah. Incredibly important.
Even today, Lisbon is a major city. But back then, controlling that port meant controlling like all the trade, all the naval power in that part of the world.
Exactly. Lisbon's location, right there at the mouth of the Tagus River.
Right.
It was like the key to the whole region, you know, controlling access to trade routes, connecting the Atlantic to the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
So when the Crusaders captured Lisbon during the Reconquista, that was a huge turning point.
Huge.
It was a massive victory for the Crusaders and a serious blow to the Almohad Caliphate, which was the Muslim dynasty that ruled most of Spain and Portugal at the time.
It must have completely changed the balance of power in the region.
Oh, absolutely.
And contributed to the eventual Christian reconquest of the Iberian Peninsula.
Right.
It's amazing to think how one event, like a battle for one city, can have such a lasting impact on the course of history.
It really is.
It shows you how interconnected everything is.
Yeah.
Speaking of interconnectedness, let's fast forward to another event that had huge global consequences. The Wall Street crash of 1929.
Oh, yeah.
We all know it was a stock market crash.
Right.
But what's fascinating to me is how it went way beyond just finance. It really shook people's faith in the whole system, you know?
Yeah, during the 1920s, the stock market in the U.S. was booming.
Right, the roaring 20s.
It was fueled by speculation and easy credit.
Okay.
Stock prices were soaring way beyond what they were actually worth.
Like a bubble.
Exactly, a bubble just waiting to burst.
And everyone knew it couldn't last forever.
And then on October 24th, 1929, panic set in.
Oh, no.
People started selling their stocks like crazy, triggering a massive sell-off that sent prices plummeting.
Black Tuesday.
Billions of dollars were wiped out, banks failed, businesses closed, unemployment skyrocketed.
Right, the Great Depression.
And it wasn't just limited to the U.S. because the global economy was already so interconnected. The crash had ripple effects everywhere.
It's a harsh reminder that what happens in one part of the world can have a huge impact on everyone else.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about battles, conquests, and economic crashes. Let's switch gears to something more cosmic.
Okay.
Let's talk about the discovery of Z8 GND 5296 in 2013.
Ah, yes.
This was huge because it was the most distant galaxy ever observed at that time.
Incredible discovery.
Can you give us a sense of scale here? Just how far away are we talking?
We're talking about a galaxy so far away that its light has been traveling for over 13 billion years to reach us.
13 billion years.
That means we're seeing this galaxy as it existed just 700 million years after the Big Bang.
Whoa.
It's like looking back in time to the universe's infancy.
That is just mind-blowing.
It is.
That's like we have a time machine, you know?
It really is. And by studying this distant galaxy, we can learn so much about how galaxies form and evolve over time.
Right.
It helps us answer these fundamental questions about the universe, like how did it all begin? How did galaxies first form?
So it's not just about breaking distance records. It's about using these observations to unlock the mysteries of the universe's early history.
Exactly. Discoveries like this push the boundaries of our knowledge and force us to ask even deeper questions about the origins and evolution of the cosmos.
You know, as we're going through all these events, I'm noticing a theme here.
Oh, really? What's that?
Whether it's the Battle of Karbala, the fall of Lisbon, the Wall Street crash, or even this incredible galaxy discovery, they're all turning points.
Turning points.
Moments where the course of history of human understanding was forever changed.
You're absolutely right. So many of these events mark moments of profound change, where the old ways give way to the new.
Yeah.
And while these turning points can be disruptive, they can also lead to innovation, growth, and progress.
It's like this date, October 24th, is this crucible where ideas and beliefs and power structures are tested and reshaped.
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?
It is, but let's get back to the people now.
Okay.
We've got some intriguing individuals to discuss who share a birthday with this remarkable date.
I'm ready to hear more about them. We were talking about Emperor Domitian, born in 51 AD, and Antony van Leeuwenhoek, born in 1632.
Right. Domitian is often remembered as a tyrant, but is there more to his story?
There always is, isn't there? History is rarely black and white. While Domitian's rule was definitely characterized by authoritarianism and repression, he also oversaw a period of stability and expansion for the Roman Empire.
Okay.
He launched ambitious building projects, strengthened the military, and reformed the tax system.
So a complex figure with both positive and negative aspects to his legacy.
Exactly.
It's important to remember that judging historical figures solely on their worst actions can sometimes obscure the bigger picture.
A very good point.
Now, what about Antony van Leeuwenhoek, born in 1632? You mentioned his work in microscopy.
Yes, Leeuwenhoek.
Can you give us a sense of just how revolutionary his discoveries were?
I mean, imagine seeing things that no one had ever seen before.
Right.
It must have been like discovering a whole new universe.
Right here on Earth.
Exactly. Before Leeuwenhoek, the microscopic world was largely unknown.
Right.
He was the first to observe bacteria, red blood cells, sperm cells, all these things we take for granted now.
Wow.
His meticulous observations and detailed drawings helped lay the foundation for modern biology and medicine.
So his work had a lasting impact on our understanding of life itself.
Without a doubt.
Incredible.
His discoveries transformed the way we see the natural world and paved the way for countless scientific advancements.
Okay, let's jump ahead to the 20th century.
Okay.
And talk about that incredible trio, born on October 24th, 1932.
1932, yes.
Pierre-Gilles Lejeune, Robert Mundell, and Stephen Covey.
What a
It's amazing how three individuals from such different fields, physics, economics, and personal development, all share this birthday.
It's remarkable, isn't it? Digenis, the physicist, won the Nobel Prize for his work on something called soft matter physics.
Soft matter physics.
Yeah, have you ever heard of it?
Honestly, it sounds kind of cuddly, but seriously, what is it?
Well, it's basically the study of materials that are easily deformed by, stresses or fluctuations in temperature.
Okay.
Things like polymers, liquid crystals, even biological tissues.
So things that are, well, soft.
Exactly. And Digenis's work completely changed the way we understand how these materials behave at a molecular level.
Interesting.
And his research has applications in all sorts of fields, from material science to biology.
Okay, what about Robert Mundell, the economist? He won the Nobel Prize for his work on optimal currency areas.
Mundell, yes.
Can you explain what that means? I have to admit, economics isn't exactly my strong suit.
Sure. In simple terms, Mundell was trying to figure out when it makes sense for countries to share the same currency. His work was hugely influential in the development of the euro.
Oh.
And people still use his ideas today when they're discussing things like monetary policy and international finance.
So his theories have had a real-world impact on how countries manage their economies.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and last but not least, we have Stephen Covey,
Covey.
author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes, a classic.
What do you think made his ideas resonate with so many people?
Well, his book was all about personal effectiveness and leadership.
Okay.
He talked about being proactive, setting goals, finding win-win solutions, practical things like that.
Right.
And I think people really connected with his ideas because they offered practical advice for improving both their personal and professional lives.
It's amazing how these three individuals, all born on the same date, made such huge contributions to their fields.
It's a testament to the diversity of human talent, isn't it?
It is.
And the potential for each of us to make a real difference in the world.
It's inspiring. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into October 24th.
We have.
We've explored historical turning points, scientific discoveries, and the lives of some remarkable people.
Remarkable people.
But we're not quite finished yet.
Oh, there's more.
We still need to talk about the people who died on this date.
Ah, yes. Those whose legacies continue to inspire us. Welcome back to our deep dive into October 24th.
It's amazing how much history can be packed into just one day.
It is.
We've explored battles, revolutions, scientific breakthroughs, and met some incredible people born on this date.
Yeah.
But now, it's time to shift our focus to those who left this world on October 24th,
Right.
leaving behind legacies that continue to influence us today.
It's like we've come full circle.
Yeah.
We started with those who made history,
Right.
and now we're honoring those who, at the end of their journeys, became part of it.
Their stories are just as important.
Just as important.
So let's start with Sultan Qautuz,
Qautuz.
who died on October 24th, 1260. We talked about him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He was a key figure in resisting the Mongol invasions.
He was.
A true hero, standing up to one of the most powerful empires in history.
Absolutely. Qautuz was a Mamluk, a sultan.
Right.
Part of this warrior class that rose to power in Egypt and Syria during the 13th century.
Okay.
And he led the Mamluk army to a decisive victory against the Mongols at the Battle of Ain Jalut in 1260.
That was a huge victory.
Huge.
It stopped the Mongols from advancing further into the Middle East,
Right.
potentially saving Egypt, and maybe even changing the course of Islamic civilization.
It was a pivotal moment, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Qautuz's courage and his strategic brilliance, they really changed the course of history.
Imagine what might have happened if the Mongols had conquered Egypt.
It's hard to even imagine.
The world would be a very different place today.
It would.
Sadly, Qautuz didn't get to enjoy his victory for long.
No, he didn't.
He was assassinated shortly after the Battle of Ain Jalut.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in moments of triumph, there can be danger lurking in the shadows.
It makes you realize how volatile power can be,
It does.
even for those who achieve great things.
For sure.
Okay, let's switch gears now and talk about another fascinating figure who died on October 24th.
Okay, who's that?
Tycho Brahe, the Danish astronomer.
Brahe.
He passed away on this date in 1601.
Right.
Now, we know he's famous for his astronomical observations, but what made his work so revolutionary?
Well, Brahe was incredibly meticulous in his observations of the heavens.
Okay.
He made these amazingly accurate measurements of the positions of stars and planets, and get this, he did it all without a telescope.
No telescope. Wow, that's impressive.
It is.
That's serious dedication to science.
It is. His data was so precise that it actually formed the basis for Johannes Kepler's later discoveries about planetary motion.
Oh, wow.
Kepler was Brahe's assistant, and he was able to use Brahe's incredibly detailed observations to come up with his 3 laws of planetary motion,
Right.
which completely revolutionized our understanding of how the planets move around the sun.
So Brahe's work wasn't just about his own discoveries.
No?
It actually paved the way for future scientific breakthroughs.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It is. It's a real testament to the power of human curiosity
Yeah.
and the importance of, passing on knowledge to future generations.
We're still benefiting from Brahe's work today.
Absolutely.
As we wrap up this deep dive into October 24th,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about how this one date has connected us to so many different parts of human history.
It's true.
We've seen empires rise and fall, scientific paradigm shift, and explored the lives of people who truly left their mark on the world.
It's like we've taken this whirlwind tour through time,
Yeah.
experiencing this incredible panorama of triumphs and tragedies, breakthroughs and setbacks.
But through it all, what really stands out is the human spirit,
The human spirit.
that drive to explore, to understand, to leave a legacy.
That's what makes history so fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
It's not just dates and facts.
No.
It's the stories of people who lived, loved, fought, and dreamed.
And by understanding their stories, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves
Yeah.
and our place in the world.
Exactly.
Before we started this deep dive, October 24th was just another day on the calendar for me.
Yay.
But now it feels like a day woven into the very fabric of history.
It does.
It's a reminder that every day, even the most ordinary seeming ones, are filled with the potential for extraordinary events.
They are.
And the echoes of the past.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks. So, as we conclude our exploration, I want to leave our listener with one final thought. If you could pick one event, one person, or one idea that stood out to you from this deep dive into October 24th, what would it be?
What would it be?
And why?
That's a great question to ponder.
It is.
And a perfect way to end our deep dive.
So, to our listener, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through time.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around you.